Oh, I know.
In a good way, in a good way.
Oh,
Ashley, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you, Connie.
The connections building is, and now it's vacant on there. I wanted him to try to get me with the veterans. I thought that would be cool, and then say something about
You put me down for anything?
visit our museum. Yes.
Volunteers at Cornwall, it's in there, someone really with strong hands.
This was
You want to do something different?
Yeah,
Mrs. Johnson, the
sorry.
mayor.
Oh, you're good.
He used to.
we'll be able to help on Friday.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they start
They
talking the.
go good somewhere.
Out at
I
the-
just think it's a shame that it's only seen.
Start together with a list and the county.
Thing. I mean, a few.
They got something going on Saturday.
We're helping out with people's best.
In the farmer's market.
Hi, Pam.
Maybe take. Hi.
Work for me.
Yeah, just
I think you're going.
my pay grade.
All right, it is 3:00. We'll call the city county committee to order. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from May 12th of 2025.
I'm approve the minutes, so May 12th, 2020.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Good, second by Ms. Moore to approve the minutes of 2025. Any more discussion? Not all those in favor say aye.
I,
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Next on the agenda, we got public comment limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum public comment of 30 minutes on the agenda. Anybody wish to speak in public comment? Anybody wish to speak in public comment?
but can they under the,
I'm gonna call on them for an agenda item.
okay, all right.
All right. Have no public comment. All right, next on the agenda, we got discussion and possible motion. We got update from River Travel Media on visitor guides.
Hey, Phil.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you great.
Okay, so I don't see Amy on, so if you're okay, I can just go ahead and give an overview of what we've been working on for the last month.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, so ad sales have really started to pick up. We now have receivables of our budgeted amount. I have not been in the office today, but I do see that a couple more emails came in from Amy, so we will have a few more sales to add. Payments are also coming in, so what we set up was a 30-day. And we have received some of those payments, so our revenues are starting to look much better. You'll notice on the budget report form that I had said ad sales were kind of slow to start. Well, since filling that form out, we've had a lot rolling in. So I would say when we get to that part, that's no longer a concern. Where we're at right now is we need guidance on what the committee wants to see in the actual visitor guide. So you guys gave some great direction last meeting. We beefed up a lot of that copy in terms of camping, agritourism, and Kathy Hulber did share a lot of great points for that as well. So I think we can even extend our agritourism article. But what we're looking for from you guys is to kind of confirm what you want in the guide and maybe what you don't want in the guide before we put a lot of time into updating all of that copy. So I don't know if you guys have the guide in front of you or a copy of it, or if you could pull it up on your computers or something like that. But if you go page by page, the guide is kind of set up with, obviously the cover. The second page is a big photo. We go into kind of a welcome to Rusk County. Let's talk about our visitor center. And then there's a table of contents. Flip again. We've got the photo and the waterways, the 4 rivers for everyone. Then we talk about fishing and boating. We talk about biking, ATV and snowmobile, There's a feature on Christie Mountain. There are 2 full pages on the Blue Hills. And it goes on and on. So I know that you had directed camping, free ways to enjoy the area, and pet-friendly reasons to visit. So we did go ahead and get copy written for that. I've also beefed up the ATV trails, agritourism, the Heart of the North Brewing Company, Christie Mountain, and Rusk County Development. But if you guys could confirm today, if you want all of the same stuff to stay, that's great. If there's some stuff maybe you're okay getting rid of, that would be great too. But we want to be able to come back to you guys with draft copy at the next meeting.
One thing we had discussed was like building it in was the ADA accessible. So just making sure that that is something that I don't think it needs to be separate pages, but like if things are accessible, like the kayak launch or like the museum being that, like having that included, even if it's just like a icon of like what's accessible.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any, I'm looking through real quick, but maybe to highlight since our visitor center has the nice train display, something with Ladysmith trains, and now we've got Weyerhaeuser trains too, don't we? The depot over there. I mean, just a suggestion.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are
Anything else?
are the veterans walls featured in here?
Oh, yeah.
All of the veterans
the-
walls are the.
And the display, you mean the murals?
Yes.
I don't think so, but that's always a real attraction to family members that come. I
A
know.
lot of people mention those walls and
Yeah,
they're putting a new one in, is it in Tony as well now? I believe somebody had said, so they're in Bruce and Tony and Ladysmith and Weyerhaeuser has one too, don't they?
Yes. Yep.
But that might be something,
yeah,
another,
another,
I don't know, but
yeah.
Maybe like a blurb on, we got lots of murals.
And then,
that's a unique thing that,
right,
We hear a
because
lot
I
of
don't think too
comments
many
about
other
that.
communities have that.
That's all local veterans.
and it would be, to come see your relative on the wall or, if they paid the money,
Right.
whatever, it's maybe something to feature.
And then I don't know if we have anything really a big splash on the Mardi Gras. Fireworks or on the river and all that.
The Venetian night print is unique.
Yeah, that's unique. So that would be another.
And like the stuff coming up, like we can definitely make sure we get photos. And I know that the powerboat people there, like that's something we plan to bring for years to come, but they like lost all of their footage, so they're bringing camera crews because Mardi Gras is gonna be the
Mardi Gras.
first like event that they have for the year. So they are bringing like their whole camera crew and
Good.
so we should be able to get some photos from them. They're very willing to share stuff with us.
There's a map. Everybody likes the map, right? To show, the trails and stuff.
So like Sue, are you thinking on page 15 where we kind of call out events, maybe like highlight the Mardi Gras and what they offer?
I think we're coming up on year 89 of that, so it's been a long standing community.
It was
event.
85, but you're thinking 89. Well, you'd have to get the
It's,
exact.
we're thinking 89
Okay.
because of how it was.
Yeah,
like,
so it's
before.
mentioned in here under events. Fun on the frozen flambeau, art along the flambeau, but now we don't have that anymore, right? We haven't had, I would take that out if we don't have that. Music in the park, of course, is still here. But Mardi Gras seems like we should have a picture. on
The
the
fair's not the junior fair anymore, it's the regular Rusk County Fair now.
Oh, yeah.
We have plenty of pictures of like rodeo stuff and
Music on Minor, would that be something they'd want to feature? Cause that's really kind of picked up every Friday night in front of a local bar. That's kind of with their car show. That's kind of become a bigger thing. And Leave It to Rusk. But the only thing is, I asked her, remember they
Yeah,
changed
Leave
the
It to-
date? So just, we'd have to make sure the date would be the
Leave-
correct weekend.
Right.
Or you could leave it to check the website or something too, that way.
Or put that code or something to check that
Yeah,
that's an
right.
event that's usually happening.
Yeah, but those are, even Leap It to Rusk, is usually some beautiful pictures of the fall color or,
Do we feature in there like the chamber at all? I know that they're like technically their own business, but they do so much promotion for the community and like
Oh.
obviously our funds are supporting that. So
Banner.
like, I don't know if they're kind of featured anywhere in there, because I know a lot of people go to them for information
Right.
as well.
Yeah. Definitely should be
Like you're thinking an ad, or are you thinking about?
Or even like
the
a,
fact
you
that
like meet the chamber, what like, you know, like what the chamber offers, because like they do a lot of promotions and they have their own events as well. That changes year to year, but like if people know, oh, like the chamber is also doing events.
yeah, and people coming into the community as well as businesses often want to see, is there a Chamber of Commerce? Because they know they promote.
Because not only is this tourism, but this, it kind of falls into economic development too. Like if I wanted to come here and see what's available, then I also know that there's gonna be a chamber that only supports like Ladysmith, but it supports the whole
And
community.
because it is the Rusk County Chamber of
Right.
Commerce.
Which
That's
is not something that every county like has, like they all have,
right.
they're smaller community ones, but we have a county one.
Well, I didn't realize that like at the chamber office, you could rent or use snowshoes.
Visitor center.
Yes.
Tourism center, so like that's where people get confused,
Yeah.
but I mean, as far as like,
I just found out this last year too.
I didn't even know you could use, I mean, I would have probably
Yeah,
used them sometime. I didn't.
Yeah.
they had a big thing in the paper, steer, showing all the things they had.
they got frisbees for the disc golf courses and they have like GPS things, so if you want to go geocaching, so there's things that like the visitor center has that would also be nice to make sure that it's included of like what are free or rentals that you can check out, because I might not go buy a set of discs because I can't find them in the area, but if I know I can go to the chamber and rent them out for my weekend here.
Kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, so there should be.
We hear Warden Exchange in any place? We were talking about that before. we did it.
Oh,
Well, we're talking about like.
Event venue.
Wedding venues, event venues,
yeah,
and so.
But even Warden, you'd think could almost even be a little,
could be a,
I don't know if he's gonna put an ad in or you know what I mean? I don't know. But
yeah,
a little feature on that building, because that's unique.
So like part of the state's push for, like their big thing is like the conferences and meetings and everything. Obviously County can't hold that like larger stuff, but we can host those smaller things. So having something even like that can be, like here's some of our event venues in the area would be good.
Yeah, that's fine.
we've got it broken down into communities, the different villages or. Yeah. John.
Do you feel like we're getting much, Ashley?
Yeah, so kind of what we want to do is, so I'm writing all of the copy and then, Amy and Brent will put it into the guide. So, what we wanted to do was just make sure if there was something you guys totally didn't want in the guide again, you wanted like a full page removed, then that's kind of the direction we were looking for. So these are great ideas. Thank you for this. So what I think we'll do is we'll put all of the copy together and then kind of present it to you. Like for instance, I had called out a special section for the Mardi Gras in the freeways to explore the area. But you guys, if you want that on the events page, that can be something that you can direct. I also have the fair. I have the music on Minor and the music in the park, I think it was. Whatever happened last week, I have that under freeways. I've got the programs that the library has in that section as well. So if you're okay with it, I'm kind of getting the vibe that you want everything that we already have in this current visitor guide, but we need to freshen up the content. Obviously, some of that stuff doesn't exist anymore or isn't happening anymore. And then kind of try to incorporate ADA. We want a venue section. We wanted to beef up camping. And then I can kind of bring that back to you guys. And if you need to shuffle where you want it in the guide, does that sound like a good direction to go?
Sounds good.
That sounds good. I was just thinking on page 12, actually, we
Okay,
have
yep.
the museums and shopping. And we don't have any photo of the historical museum at all. I don't think, unless it's somewhere else in here. The Little Red Schoolhouse is always a cool thing, I think. The Paul Museum, but maybe even the picture. We have a large picture across the top of the caboose and part of the train display at the visitor center, but maybe that could be smaller with, another picture, split it and put a picture of the museum because that could be right above Russ County Historical Museum. I don't know, just a thought.
The thing is, you have to remember that photos are gonna draw people in. So
Right.
like you want nice, clean photos, like the words are not going to,
Yeah,
so like having those nice bright colored photos and
yeah,
ones that are
there's
catchy.
an awful lot on the rail display. I don't know what, that all says, but
I think smaller blurbs and more
yes,
photos.
smaller paragraphs and more,
With you, I
Pictures.
do picture shop when I go through.
yeah, right.
Out there, and then I read the verbiage underneath it.
Only got like, isn't it 5 seconds to capture somebody's attention?
Yeah,
Right.
and for me, it's probably more like 2.
Yeah, like I said, there's something in here, a paragraph about art along the Flambeau, so you wouldn't have that. Something about the Arts Alliance, yeah. So, are you in here? This is your picture, I think, isn't it? I don't know, maybe that's mine, old one.
Oh, that must be
Maybe it
you.
should be yours, something here. Yeah. Well, anyway, updated.
Another one in here, have we ever thought about, or maybe they're gonna put an ad in, it'd be like the Minor Theater? That's pretty cool.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
old,
from
and a lot of
1948.
rich history, you know what I mean? A lot of people who are into kind of the Art Deco type of thing, that is
Yeah.
that style of theater. I know my daughter-in-law lives in Stillwater and she loves
Yeah.
that theater. She'll come here to see a show.
Kind of historic theater.
It's so sad when they get rid of the wallpaper that had like the movie stuff on it.
Might be kind of a draw too.
They got, oh.
How much longer are they taking ad sales, do you know, Ashley?
Farms we have.
Yep, I think the sales are open, I think, for another couple of months.
It should
Okay.
be. Their dairy cows.
Okay, any more suggestions here? Not?
The only thing is I see under agritourism is a picture of, you have to look kind of closely, but it's a turkey. I wonder how many turkey farms do we have in Russ County?
Kathy,
Where maybe
Kathy sent a bunch of
we could put, yeah,
fresh pictures for,
a picture of one of the large dairy farms or cranberry places or something like that.
Sheep.
Well, they do have a Palm Museum mentioned in here.
Oh, yeah, it's machine shed, yeah.
And I don't know,
There's gonna
I
be
don't know
a
if
big
Artisans-
thing.
I don't know if Artisans is in here, but no, they're gonna be
No,
moving
they-
their production to
Yeah,
Kentucky.
so they won't be,
They're all
yeah,
going to be there in a
Right.
year.
yeah, so we've got.
Is there anything else you need from us, Ashley, with that?
No, nope, I was just looking for direction before I start rewriting the guide, so thank you for that.
okay. All right, then we'll move on to discuss content, copy, and order of content visitor center guides. So
So I think we kind
That's
of
kinda
covered
what we-
that.
you need to know, how big of an order we're looking for yet, or can we discuss that once we get closer to sending them a printing?
Yeah, I think so. I think Amy was just curious when she had sent that email.
Okay.
And then the reason the order is important is because once you kind of start building the guide, you build each page to kind of work together. So
Puzzle
it
pieces. don't
yeah, it
match
becomes
you
harder
just
if you're
say,
like, never mind, we want 3 on 8, then that becomes more difficult. So as soon as we get the copy, we can probably come back to you guys and hash that out at our next meeting.
Okay.
Did we ever figure out how many we had last year?
The last time
The
was
last time we did it,
30,000, I'm quite
We-
sure.
we overdid it.
Yeah, right. So
We're looking from 5 to 10.
we were looking, yeah, 5 to 10.
I think it depends too on what ad sales look like and
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to explore full-time tourism economic development position. At the last meeting, we decided a contract with CETA, but we said that we should bring it up this month to discuss having a full-time in-house person for a shared economic development tourism role. My suggestion would be we have money in the budget for the contractor to start in July and go till the end of the year to maybe that's up to personnel to set up a wage to start budgeting for next year. If that comes back as,
I would make a motion to go forward with that. Then we can look at kind of what we would need for it to budget and what that like job description.
and we don't send or suggested as far as a job description, we could let personnel come up with a
So, and that would be for tourism and economic development.
split, but a full-time too. Okay,
Are we saying, like, are we looking for a director position or just for, like, cause that could determine different price range. Like, what is the title that are we looking just for options out there or?
well, we could make that more however we want, but by director, you're talking like a,
I mean, I just think that like like how you label that, it has different. Like one job descriptions and also pay scales. Correct?
yeah, a lot's gonna depend on what the job description entails, I think, and then any qualifications. Because it'd go to Carlson Detman for, or what's the new company called? It's not Carlson Detman anymore, Ashley.
Yeah, I can't remember what Ashley called it. Cottingham Butler.
Cunningham Butler. I mean, we just want somebody who's a employee in that role that does tourism economic development full time, right?
Correct, because right now the CETA really focuses on economic development and I think we need someone that can do some of both.
As time goes on, when is this company going to start?
July 1st.
Right.
Won't we know a whole lot more as time goes by, what, what they do? And so I think we'll learn a lot from July to December.
Again, it's only economic development. Like that's their thing. We asked that question about tourism and that's for 2 days a week where we could invest that money into a full-time position that covers both of our stuff of economic development and tourism and get a good quality, like, and hopefully someone that would stay. You can't guarantee, but having someone to, like, we have to build that. And I think CETA would get us a good starting. But I think we need to look at our future and
Well, you might even have both of them for a while in conjunction, to be honest, because I
At
think
least
you
knowing-
have some resources that we don't have.
knowing like what to budget for and kind of getting that process starting before budget season rolls in.
Okay, so we're thinking though of doing this for the next
For next, yeah, starting in
year,
January.
not
And-
yet
but-
prior to.
No, but the budget cycle will start pretty soon where we'll want to start budgeting for it, even if we don't, we could probably tweak the job description. If we get the ball rolling on it. But going into budget cycle, we wanna know what to budget for it before the budget comes out.
And not saying that someone has to start January 1st, but at least then we have kind of all of our options out on the table. And if that's something that we choose to move forward with, then at least have all of the information out there.
We could at least, get the ball rolling on it, because it's gonna take a little bit of time for personnel to come up with a suggested and all that too. Do we want? We don't want them to send it back to us. Are we okay if personnel just handles the job description and goes forward, and then they can send it to the wage study people, and then they'll send it back to us, and when we set up the budget, we'll just make sure to include.
Right.
Okay.
They're
So,
just gonna need to know what we're looking for though.
yeah, what should be a person, a full-time position to do economic development and tourism.
Need a
So
job
if I could just interrupt for a second, I
Yep.
agree with Sue. I agree with what Sue just said. They're gonna want to know what you as the oversight committee are looking for. So it might be appropriate that you direct the HR manager maybe to pull some surrounding econ dev tourism type job descriptions and then maybe present to you, and you could develop the description that you'd suggest to personnel.
So you think it should come back here like next month? For us?
That
to
would be,
send?
yeah, that would be my suggestion, because if you guys are gonna be the oversight of this position, you might know better what you want than the personnel committee does.
I have a note that, this person from CETA told us that they are now, I believe that they are in Bayfield County and Washburn County, that they've worked in both of those counties or have someone.
Is this a question about the economic development tourism?
Right.
Or is this about the CETA position? Because if it's
Well,
related
I
to,
thought it was related to.
is it related to, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was
Well, we're
related to.
we're talking about a full-time
Oh, okay.
person that we just hire separate. If, for the CETA stuff, I would wait till we get to
Okay,
the CETA work with Russ County.
okay, further, sorry.
So we got a motion on the table. No worries. I just want to keep
Yeah, keep them separate.
them
Okay.
separate in the right spot. Okay, so we got a motion by Cheyenne. Was that a second? Okay. We got a second by Sue to have HR start on a job description for us to bring back so we can forward it to personnel
How you want it written?
for full-time economic development tourism.
I'm just gonna say.
It's hard to.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Something like that?
we had a lot of discussion before.
Without the ums in there? You can take the ums out, but keep the meat there. Does that sound good, Ashley?
Yes, I think that would be a good path forward.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Sue. All right, so we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right. Review budget reporting form, tourism and economic development. So you said that ad sales were the one that was listed here is a little start, but you said we're looking good there now.
Yes, and I'm hoping to have more detailed information to you guys for the next meeting. If I haven't received payment yet, I don't really want to share the name of the business just in case something would happen and they can't, have their ad in for whatever reason. Otherwise, again, just bringing your attention to a planned postage increase because we have historically gone over in that line. And this is a good problem to have, but Rhonda brought this to my attention. There's been an increase in the train tours. I think Lois and Sue are doing a great job with that, but that's also wiping out our inventory. And we did budget $1,000 for resale. this year, and we are already at about 500, which seems on track because we're in June, obviously. But Rhonda had let me know that 2 more tours are going to go through in June. So she's anticipating that we might need to come back in July and ask you guys to go over in that line. So just something to keep an eye on.
Good job. And ladies.
Got me up again.
Show them the picture.
Kathy and
Awesome. We look official?
Oh,
Yeah.
all right,
there.
anything more on the budget?
No, I think otherwise, I think we are looking good for both tourism and economic development right now.
Is this?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, review building improvements. We got the visitor center update.
Excuse me, Chair, you need a motion to send those
Oh,
budget forms.
That would- yeah, sorry about that. Somebody want to make a motion, send that budget forms to,
The motion.
I'll second it.
motion by Cheyenne, second by Tom. Any more discussion? Not all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Okay, now on to the visitor center update, and I did get notes. Rhonda here. So her notes for June, it says things are picking up. Door count for May was 685, which does include all aboard tours. April was 347 for reference, so been pretty good. Sales for the month of May were 772, which includes 464 in all aboard sales. Budget's the concern, as Ashley mentioned, we're down to less than $500. All of our sales are depleting our inventory, which needs to replace for the summer. We have 2 more tours scheduled for this month. We continue to add boxcar display. Continue to add to the boxcar display in the train car. We are still in need of artificial pine boughs to use for making beds. You need to order t-shirts. There's a minimum order of 48 shirts. We'd like to use the marketing slogan that will be on the front page of the new guide, waiting for information before placing an order. Were we going with 4 rivers for all of us? Or 4 rivers for everyone again? Yeah. I think we discussed that.
Yeah, I think so.
So far, only one incident in the trains, which was eating utensils missing out of caboose. Seems that installing the cameras that are visible to the public has helped in this area. 2 crates were donated by Al Christensen Jr. and are placed in a baggage train car. These crates were sent from Abbotsford to Ladysmith by train to the wife of our first mayor. Museum has donated the original case file cabinet from the original courtroom. It's displayed in the passenger car. Glass and 2 display cabinets donated by the museum has been replaced, so we'll now be cleaning them up and adding items. People are commenting on our visitor center and train cars. Many are coming back several times and bring more family and friends to the area. They really enjoy the displays, and people are actually staying longer and really studying the information provided. We've had people stay and visit for up to 2 hours. Train monitor displayed in the center has not been working for the last month, as the company that runs it can no longer use the software. It's possible to replace with another type of software, but it will not display the information that individuals were coming in to see. We'd like to have it removed, as it will no longer provide the information visitors wanted and takes up space we are running short of. We have a young man who would like to volunteer his time and become involved. Perhaps we can use him for help locking and opening trains, painting the caboose, all aboard tours, cleaning, etc. He has been visiting for the past several years and seems very knowledgeable in the subject of trains. Ashley, they mentioned this to me. I called them, and I think this is a minor. So we weren't sure if you need a permission slip or what, and what the volunteer policy is.
Okay, yep. And if he's gonna be volunteering, I would need to look into, we do have a volunteer policy with our insurance company, but I am not sure we've ever had minors who are volunteers, so I would need to look into that.
Okay, yeah, because they said he was in school and will be going back to school. So that would,
Would it fall underneath the same kind of stuff that the library has, or is the library underneath the city? 'Cause the library has youth library volunteers every summer.
Library's a city, but we also have youth working for.
four H.
You,
Like at the fair and everything.
the junior,
volunteers.
no, she's working in the office.
I know, but isn't there like volunteers at the fair? Well,
So that might be something, yeah, if you could look into that, Ashley, and see if they need to fill something out, and if that's even a possibility.
Yeah,
For summer.
absolutely. Because I
that?
think some of those,
For summer, was it?
that's when it would be open.
Yeah, for summer work days. So once he goes back to school, then he won't have as much. No, it's not like high school.
Okay.
So, volunteers did a great job cleaning out shrubs, planting pots and washing siding and windows. Very grateful, looking so much better. And, that's all I got for that.
I could tell you, we had 7 kids, and then we're supposed to have 37 on the 11th, and then they haven't gotten back to me how many are coming on the 25th. And our cookie thing, we had, as of May 21st, it was 100, we spent $175.51, so our balance for May 21 is $73.49.
For the cookies, right? So if we have 37 kids on this, on the 11th,
I think
you're gonna use that all up, right?
Yeah, well, not all, almost all. But we have sold books that I donated, and so we do have a little balance there. So we had 6 groups that did the train tour, 3 that did the post office, 4 that did the museum, and 5 that did the library. Oh, we had 95 kids. Yeah, I didn't add in the Mongo Day added.
Is this more, total than you've had last year?
And,
There's 2 groups last year, right?
yeah,
We have
This is,
OLS and Imago Day, which I think it was like 22 kids or so.
so this is considerably more. That's why you,
right,
Like a avalanche more.
that's why you cleaned out the center
the inventory.
inventory. That's
right.
good. That's real good.
Yeah, $464 just from the kids so far in the month of May, right?
Good job.
Yeah.
That's real good. Anything else on that?
Just a comment. I think it looks excellent as you go by there. It's very attractive. I love it.
Oh, I was gonna have a question. Did we finally have somebody to paint the trim and stuff outside? I know
On hold.
John Hoover did.
It's
I
got-
thought he was supposed to paint one of the trains,
Yeah,
but I didn't know he even went, gave a bid for painting the building, the windows.
not sure.
We waited to see when they set time for that.
Wasn't it? Yeah, if the county was gonna be able to do that,
I think they had a pretty busy summer, but they're.
because the county takes care of the building. The city takes care of the trains,
Yeah.
in essence, So you don't want it to get too bad, I mean, if it's all chipped and peeling and everything around the windows, but.
Yeah, well, maybe, find Brett or something. Ashley, I know
yep,
that he's.
it's on Brett's radar. His department just doesn't have the capacity to do it this summer.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Just a question.
All right, update on economic development tourism report. It on CETA, Russ County. Ashley sent the, an update on that in the package here somewhere. But we got, what's in the packet here, Ashley? Was there anything else? You know, to add to that? We met with, him the other day and just kind of briefed over the packet here, business retention, entrepreneurial support, economic development, other duties, industrial park area and stuff. Did you have anything else besides what you put in the packet? Ashley?
Nope, I think that kind of sums up our meeting that we had and where we're looking to go here once this person gets started.
That's kind of what we're looking at. And, if you got suggestions coming up down the road or something, but I think there's a lot for this person to do
Yeah.
that, as we go along, we can kind of hone it in and, you know, if we want to change some minor stuff, but hoping that just from the overall scope, they can be somewhat self-directed here. Okay, office space for CETA contractor. I guess it's up today to discuss where we want that contractor to be. If it's out at the visitor center or somewhere in the courthouse. Did talk to Lois today. She had some concerns about them being in the visitor center and it'd be the copier room is what Brett was sizing up the other day, right, Ashley?
Yes.
Okay,
Is the old HR office available?
I'm in there right now, but I could move to another.
Or like where Ashley was before?
That's a place for housing authority. For, her name, Carolyn.
I could move though.
There's a desk in my office if you need to.
And I don't have to be on first floor. I could be on,
There's an empty office in DHS that has nothing in it right now.
I could go up there. I guess depends on,
What was Lois Weiner from the visitors
yeah,
center?
so her concern was they just don't have a lot of space in that room when they're storing.
Oh,
She said the chamber has files in there and Russ County Community Foundation has files in there.
oh, okay. So there's 3 entities using it, including the visitor center and the other 2.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there's other space in there to store the files. Somewhere else. I mentioned like the back room, but she said that was pretty packed back there.
The inconvenience of wanting to run off your papers and then you have to bother. What if they're having something going on? You can't go in and get your work
Right,
done.
yeah, if he's interviewing somebody or,
There's no telephone in that room.
they'd have to put that, yeah.
Oh, they never
Maybe
did.
easier to use one here if you have one available.
They be upstairs instead of you if it's just gonna be,
Well, that's, it's probably easier. It's probably better if they're on the main floor, I would think.
Well, and if do you want economic development to like say in DHS?
I think that's,
Like, I mean,
like what?
economic development in like DHS. That's what we were talking about. Like, there's one on the second floor.
Yeah, you'd want easy access to people. Right. Don't be
Or that
interviewed.
one's kind of like you have to go through reception and everything, where it might be good to have more of a like a drop-in policy for if you're trying to build like that community relationship. And having it be visible. It's also good to show the community that like we are actively working on economic development Cause that's a big conversation is like, we aren't, but we actually are behind the scenes and so having that visible will be good for the community to see as well.
Yeah, good point.
Could be. That'd be the only thing is if it was at the tourist center is it would be also out there too, but if we don't got space, we don't got space.
Yeah, unless they moved, made another office in there.
And found a spot to store some of the stuff. But I don't know
Yeah.
what all they have for space. So is that what we want to recommend is put them in the county board chair room and I can move
No.
upstairs. That's that.
It's an option.
Do that.
Just don't say I'm the one that recommended you to go upstairs.
You could
Oh, I just took, that's just for the,
probably go into Carolyn's room.
I don't know where Carolyn's room is. I just went in
So
there.
that,
'Cause that-
the
This
old
one.
AC office, a motion was made to turn that into a lactation room because we don't have a lactation room. So property would need to override that motion that they already made.
Yeah, well, either way, whatever we do, we'll want to send a property anyways, right?
Yeah, you have to because this will affect cost allocations. So the economic development budget may now have to start paying for cost allocations based off of the square footage if they're housing this person in the courthouse, because those cost allocations are already figured into the tourism budget for the entire visitor center. So that's just something to keep in mind.
So that might be a reason. to Consider having it out at the tourist center too.
Did you say it's the 365 Foundation that stores things in that room?
She said it was the Rusk County Community Foundation.
Which is the parent company of Give 365. They have like the
She said-
40 different.
It sounds like they have files in there. So I don't know if that can be stored somewhere else. The phone thing, I think,
That's been an issue before.
yeah,
The phones are not working correctly. Remember that?
Yeah.
but the phone thing, I think they would cell phone or something anyways. The printing, I guess, that'd be the, if you're bothering somebody else printing, but
Yeah, it's getting crowded there, isn't it? I mean, the whole
yeah,
building, because
yeah, the only thing is if, I don't know what the cost for being part of the cost allocation
Is
is.
there a room back there when we had the meetings there where we put the tables and the chairs? Was there a room back there?
There was
What's in that room? Is that a conference room or what is that?
a store.
sorry,
Could that be somehow the other things taken out of that other office and?
there's
Shelves all around
Oh, okay, okay.
just the furnace room with the,
the other side.
on the other side of it. So there's like two separate areas on the one side and then there's the bathrooms.
Could they reconfigure that one to accommodate some of that other stuff or
Yeah, you would think maybe.
maybe possibly?
Much floor space, I don't think. They need a new refrigerator. And they had that in the furnace room or the other one.
No,
Actually, what are the costs are we talking about for like allocation of office space? Like just.
That
to
would be
reference
something
them.
I'd have to get from finance. It's based off of square footage and it factors in things like phone, maintenance, time, utilities, things like that.
Would it be smart for someone just to be able to go over and assess what room
Yeah.
might be available at the chamber office and just see if it
But didn't
could be doable?
Brett go over there a little bit already?
Yep, so Brett went over and he emailed back. There's plenty of space in that room. And then he kind of went over and when he was looking at it, I know that the visitor center employees had raised those same concerns to him as well. I don't know if he looked in the back room or not. But I guess I'm wondering what all is being stored and do we need all of that? Could some of that be scanned in and digitized? If it's paper files, maybe an opportunity to kind of slim down what we're keeping.
Well, and then the chamber has their own room, right? So I mean,
right.
I don't know
Yes.
how fast, if it's
The
just,
chamber using that room for photocopies or anything, do we know, or?
And the community foundation, like they're partnered with an organization out of Eau Claire, so like, is it something that we, like, has it just been that we've always stored those files there for them? And we like give them a time frame that like, hey, we need that space and like you have this long to,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, can't we just say, we'd like you to move your things within 30 days to another location? If possible.
maybe it's one of those things that where we said, hey, we got extra space.
Yeah, but how long?
But now we
has
don't
it
have
been?
extra
30
space
years
because
ago,
we're storing
5
somebody's
years-
stuff in the extra space. we
5
have.
years
Yeah.
ago or whatever, and now, it's imperative that we need it, or if we think that's gonna be a good spot. I don't know.
Well, maybe based on that, if we put it out there and, I mean, if it becomes a problem out there, we could always move it down the road too. Then, we could see about
They're not-
consolidating some of the files to other places, like if the chamber's got stuff in there, maybe they got a little bit of room.
They've got pretty big office space where maybe they could bring in
Some of the stuff.
some shelving units or something for their.
And then, community foundation, see if they got somewhere else they can go with it.
Would it get touchy? I know Embrace just recently moved into the Wells Fargo building,
Oh, yeah, and that's
which looks
so
huge.
big.
Would they ever
got-
have any area that,
Yeah, they've got a huge basement down there. I don't know what they're using that for.
Maybe the
I've never been in there, but I just know
community foundation.
that was a
Stuff
large,
there.
large building. Maybe there'd be some room somebody could.
Yeah, that's a good
use-
idea.
Utilize something. in
'Cause
there.
that's a huge area.
It's a big
I
area.
can't imagine them making use of all.
I don't think they're planning on like touching the basement area for like, they've got like a 5 and 10 year plan for all that stuff, so
Oh, okay.
there is a lot of space there.
Yeah.
We have somebody look into that.
I mean, we really need to if we're looking start
Yeah.
July 1st.
Yeah, we should have, well, at least, suggest something though at this meeting so that on that first.
Can't we have 2 people from this committee go to Embrace and ask them,
I don't think it's our responsibility to find a spot for another organization's
oh,
place
well,
files.
well, I guess
I mean,
but I mean to suggest to them that they could look here or look there or whatever, yeah, I guess you're right. It's not our stuff to move.
Well, maybe the first thing to think about is what is our best option? It is the tourism, right?
Yeah, is that,
So then that's what we should look into.
And what we might have to clean or have people
Right.
clean out so that we can utilize that space there.
Or what we would have to do to be able to utilize that building.
So maybe like have actually reach out to Brett to get it set up and see, if there's files that need to be moved to have somebody reach out to either Russ, the community foundation.
'cause we had 3 weeks before someone starts.
because if it's,
The chamber will be easy to reach out to because you're just walking the next.
if it's mainly the printer that might be the issue, we
Or-
can certainly find a place somewhere.
Well, it sounds like Brett thought that would be fine.
Oh,
Right,
to
actually,
have-
I stepping out of line by saying that Brett thought the printer would be fine in there.
Yeah, and this person is only working 16 hours a week, and a lot of the priorities that Phil and I outlined for them is that they'll be out and about, like meeting people, making connections
Right.
in businesses. So I'm not even sure that they'll be physically present in that office for 16 hours a week, at least initially.
They just need somewhere to store their laptop and
Right,
a lunch or something.
yeah,
Yeah, like a home base.
Right.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
I think also having them at the visitor center. So another goal, if you guys have that sheet in your packet, was to provide business support. And I think that having the visitor center where the chamber is and they have an office there and they can give some of those classes, that will be a better location than the courthouse, even in terms of just like locking the door. So we have badge locks at the courthouse. So then that would become an issue if they were hosting kind of like a after five training thing. So this, might just be a better location for that as well.
Then they couldn't go in and use the copy machine if they got the door locked. They're gonna give key to everybody.
I'm not sure the copy room door needs to be locked. I'm not sure that this person would have confidential information. But I more so meant the visitor center main door being locked.
So we need to make a recommendation and make a recommendation to explore the visitor center as an office-based contractor.
I second it.
Who's gonna do the investigating? You wanna put that in there?
Isn't it?
Just send us a property. And Brett's already investigating.
Who did the second?
I did.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to investigate the Prism Center for CETA. Any more discussion? Not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda, we got marketing activities, marketing plan, advertising. Who's got
Okay,
any-
so, sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So for the month of June, we are currently running our bird watching and our events video down in Madison. If you'll recall, the events video focuses heavily on the live music events, the Mardi Gras, and the county fair. And then for July, we are doing the ATV UTV ad, and Christy will be doing a blitz on the website and on social media about all of the cool areas. I think I read to you guys last time the like plan a day in Rusk County, start at the American or the hotel. I know it just went through a name, the Quality Inn, go to the Toad House, hop on the Flambeau to paddle, stop at this bar. So that kind of like experience type post. And then she is also focusing in on how you can get to the Felsenmeer. So that's kind of a cool feature that we have in Rusk County that we should, promote more.
Anything else? Questions? Thanks, Ashley. Marketing the Tony Rail Yard. Did you have anything you can share on that?
So we have made a lot of movement on that, and I am waiting for an official something in writing from the EDA office in Chicago. And I will present that to you guys as soon as I have that, because it looks like we will be able to start discussing at least the possibility of marketing that land.
That's good. All right, social media, broadcast media review. Did we put out anything to hire a part-time economic development person? Is that went to personnel yet?
Yes, so Ashley had posted that job a while ago, and I believe we have one interview coming up either this week or next week.
Okay. Well, that'll help with social media stuff. Quite a bit. All right. IPEC report.
They just had the like the breakdown of the fishing opener, and then just kind of like a report on like kind of tourism in Wisconsin for 2024. Nothing major.
Programming, experimental events, arts and cultures activity. I'll call on David is looking to company geology group going and he wants to share what he's looking at and if we got any ideas and
Oh, did you need to sit there?
that doesn't matter. You can come up here, you can sit there, whatever is more comfortable.
First of all, my name is, of course, you know me, my name is Dave Baptist. I stand for all of you. And actually in the heart of land of Rusk County, I feel like that we have our Walmart, we have our connections, we have all these antique stores and stuff. And I feel like there should be just so much more than that and stuff. And I went to a rock show recently and stuff, and I've seen the turnouts that everybody has there. So I take a look at the scenery of this entire town and stuff. We have all the walls honoring the veterans and stuff, and we have the trains and stuff. And I want to see if I could create an entire rock show so that way I could get more tourism attraction here in this town. So that way it'll help out small businesses as well too, financially. You can actually to the point, maybe someday economically too. To make this town grow bigger, stronger. And I promise you, I don't stand up here as a politician or as somebody who's taking a person's wallet to get their money. I'm not here for that. I'm here to help this town out as much as I can. And I promise you. If there's any questions that all of you have, let me know. I'd be honored to answer them.
Are you thinking of setting up? You have a plan?
I haven't had that plan yet. I mean, I've had some endorsers, but they backed away from it because they didn't think they don't think I'm capable or smart enough, but that's their opinion. Everybody has their own opinions.
Well, and so that's probably gonna be one of the things is you probably want a place to have it. And
Yep.
I would guess starting out, you probably don't wanna put a whole bunch of money into it, so you're probably looking for some of the places that you can do stuff for
Mhm.
free. I would assume, doesn't the library?
I would contact Christina at the library.
Yes.
She's very willing to like collaborate with having different events. Like I know that they've done the farmers market and things like that there. Plus you could, capitalize on also the like books there too. So it might be something to look into there and kind of starting off small, and there is like grants out there to bring in like new initiatives. There's a state grant called the GEM grant that like for startup stuff. So depending on how big you are looking at making it, definitely getting like a team of people to help you because it can be overwhelming to bring in something new.
Oh, yeah. I know.
And then capitalize on like social media for
Mhm.
advertising. Cause I mean, if you can do the newspapers and stuff, but that'll.
That's a lot.
But if you do social media.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get free advertising, right?
I have a friend who's on social media. His name is Taylor. But him and I don't talk as much. He's off state stuff, but he's taught me about every single thing that there is about social media platforms and stuff. So I've got that pretty taken care of.
You on like the What's Up Ladysmith and What's Up.
Yes.
Those stuff, you create like a post and share it on those.
Yes.
That's what I do for like, the flying events or stuff at the airport.
Is there anything around here still with like the mining company? Like with, there's a lot of stuff at like the historical society with the rocks and things that were pulled from the mine. Like that might be another avenue to explore is the historical society
Yes.
with,
The fairgrounds there.
Yes. I was actually thinking about I wasn't actually just thinking about rock group, but actually historical, like have conversations stuff.
How do you spell your last name?
Dahms, DAHMS. Like, the thing is, if you're gonna take away, if you're gonna take away the history, then you might as well just take away the rocks, because if you really think about it, people who mined it is, you know,
There's some pretty cool history here with the Mayan stuff.
We were just thinking about demonstrating now at first to get us exposure.
well, for right now, I want to demonstrate, yes. I want to start as small as I can, because I don't want to do what my friends did. They had their business and stuff and they wanted to go big, and going big is not the smartest accusation. Greatest excuse me, actuation. My stuttering's kicking in, I'm really sorry. My ideal is to have a huge business at first, not business, but huge group at first. I want to start small
Yeah.
and
Sort
make
of
it bigger.
Build, yeah.
slow controlled growth so that it's
Yes.
manageable.
It's like when you play a video game and they, like, say an Atari or, well, maybe Nintendo, where they have levels, different levels, and I can't demonstrate what game, but it's like say a tank battle, for instance. First you start move forward, then you have one tank and stuff, then you have a couple, then huge group and stuff fight. But this is not fight, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of
Actually,
actually,
do you play video games?
Like, that's one of the things, like, so through the library, if you partnered with them, like, you could kind of even just get a sense of what the interest is, like, locally too, and kind of what support you would have, and then you can just help more.
Then the library, I noticed they put like little posts of some of the different events up
They were
too.
doing a great job of advertising there. They really
Yeah,
are.
so as long as it's a partnership, then like you don't have to pay you to use the space, and they have also a lot of good ideas on like how to attract people in there too. So that might be a good starting spot and working your way from there.
okay.
Thought of a name for your business yet?
I have nothing because I've been pretty busy at my workplace.
Well, if
But-
you talk to the library and get something going, let us know, because then,
Yeah.
when your first date is or something,
Yeah.
tell people about it and
Promote
stuff.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
right. It's great to have we need visionaries.
Yeah.
That's what, makes a community better and unique and.
You could say Russ County Rocks.
Russ County Rock.
Russ County
Russ County
rocks.
Rocks.
That's cute.
Painted rock.
We're the capital of those, right? The painted rocks,
That's a good,
snakes.
that's a good one.
I mean, that might also be like, those are like activities like the library is already doing, so I mean, to attract families, they might like do an activity like that where you could do your activity, so they have those kind of like collaborations as well.
Working with them.
The farmer's market, look at anybody else in that isn't selling farm stuff.
I think that they usually have like a group or two each, like a kind of like a civic organization. So
They've got a few different organizations.
They're pretty open to,
Yeah.
open to things, the farmer's market. Well, good luck.
Any more questions?
do you have any questions for us?
No, I don't have any questions. Want me to sit back now?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming today and having an idea and
Yeah.
wanted to actually put some effort into doing something. Like Sue said, we need more
I've,
people.
I've always
vision to do
thought that
something.
at the visitor center, I wish we had a train club, railroad club that would do a small, because I've seen, small displays like in Rice Lake or something, of a moving train that kids could turn on and off because they are so fascinated. But we used to have 4-H train, clubs, but those people are long gone.
All right, don't forget, we got the Young Eagles event coming up on June 28th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you know, kids between the ages of 8 through 17, they get free airplane rides. Had a great
Oh.
turnout last year, and this is a weather dependent event.
Time was it? 10?
From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Where's that link for sign up?
There's a Facebook event, but I can forward you, I got a flyer with a QR code on it too.
Perfect. If you could do that, that'd be great.
You're not having a pancake breakfast with that or anything, or are you?
Not with that,
Not
we're,
with that, that's
yeah,
separate, okay.
it looks like
So June.
June 28th.
June 28th. Yeah, Jar's looking into maybe doing the breakfast during Tony Days,
Oh,
but that's not
that's in.
for sure. Yeah, that's not for sure yet. So I'll get back to you with the date on that, but we do got the Young Eagles is the 28th. Actually, Connie, if I forward you this, would you send it to the committee? All right. Anything else on programmer and experimental events, arts, cultures, activities? All right. Arts, cultures, historic city tourism commission report. Did you have something, Sue?
Yeah, I just wanted to update everybody. The city of Ladysmith, you might know, collects room tax from all the motels within the city. It's not countywide. But I think there was about 73,000 this year. Majority of it they give to the chamber, which, well, I shouldn't say majority, but 45,000 they give to the chamber. And then this year, there was 10,000 that Bob Williams suggested we leave out for any other new groups that might be able to use that money to promote their activity or event. So then they did give $2,500 to the bowls, barrels, and bands, or whatever that's called. That's an additional money from what they initially gave, 7,500, 1,500 to music in the park, downtown, down there, and 6,000 to the Farm Fun Fest. So that 10,000 has been used up in 3 different.
The Farm Fun Fest, that's
Farm Fun Fest.
the bigger tourism thing during the fair.
Yeah, that Kathy Halber, I think, was here last month about, yeah. So all of them,
Settled on it.
you know, all those 3 were okayed and approved to give out the money there, so. So the chamber then, I think, only got 33 or 35 or something like that. So anyway, spreading it around a little bit. So.
Need more events?
A question. What's happening with that bowls, barrels?
Oh, the bowls and barrels,
They are at the
isn't it at
industrial park,
Dowdy Road?
on Doughty Road.
27 and Dowdy.
Next year, I think Justice Youth Extension approved them to be 4th of July weekend at the fairgrounds.
So it's not this year at all?
No, not this year at the fair. No, this year it's,
It is.
this year it's on Doughty Road.
Okay,
Next year it'll be at the fairgrounds. Yeah.
okay. Is there a
Yeah.
date? What's the date? Do we know?
The 26th.
25th of July.
That weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's during Air Venture.
Yeah, I think it's 25th, 26th.
Yeah, that's what I got. All right. Completed education opportunities. Next meeting date. The
14th.
Everybody good with that? Same time, 3 p.m.
14th, 3 p.m.
July 14th, 3 p.m. All right. Remote to adjourn.
Promotion.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, we're adjourned at 4:14 PM.
That's quick.
Yep.